got a confession to make. I ate 8 bags of crisps in one sitting today. Not 1, not 2, not 3, pushing it even at 4, 8. Why? Could have just had 1. Could have said, Adam, you're a big boy now, you're an adult. You can make your own life choices. Why don't you just restrain yourself, not have 8 bags, and just have 1? That's a normal thing to do. No, 8. 8. Disgusted with myself. And now what am I going to do? It's dinner time, and I'm going to have a meal laden with cheese, bacon, eggs, pasta. Thank God for my metabolism is all I can say. Otherwise I'd be like 25 stone by now. Fat pig. Happy Friday, peeps. Welcome to another episode of Adam's Eats. It's good to see you again. Right, today's recipe. What am I going to make for you? Well, I'm going to make a traditional spaghetti carbonara. This is one of my favourite recipes to make, actually, because it's so easy to throw together. And all it requires is 5 ingredients. Spaghetti, pancetta, parmesan cheese, eggs and a garlic clove. And a bit of salt and pepper. And yeah, it's really easy to make. I get quite miffed about this recipe, actually, I must be honest. The other half will tell you, she sees me get on my soapbox about it. And why? Cream. Yeah, people adding cream to this recipe. It's just not needed. The creaminess comes from the parmesan and the eggs mixed together with a little bit of the pasta water off the heat, and that is your sauce. If you're adding cream, you're cheating, alright? It might be nice, but it's not a carbonara. That's what I'm going to make for you today. So if you pop down here, I'll show you the ingredients. Right, peeps, what have we got here then? Okay, as you can see, very little ingredients. 5 to be exact, minus the salt and pepper, and we'll probably use a little bit of olive oil for cooking the pancetta in. We'll see how we get on. Right, so we've got 2 whole eggs in there, plus 2 of the yolks only. We're going to need around 300 grams of dried spaghetti, 80 grams of parmesan cheese. I've got about 150 grams of cubed pancetta. You can also use guanciale if you can get hold of it, which is similar, but it's the pig's cheek, and that's cured like bacon, and you can get that from Italian deli if you've got one near you. 1 garlic clove, salt and pepper. And also I've got a nice big pan of boiling water on the go here, ready for the spaghetti straight away. And I've added probably about a teaspoon of salt into that water. So what the first thing we're going to do is we're going to crisp up the pancetta. So follow me over to the hob and we'll get that done now. Right, so take your pancetta, put it in a cold pan. And the reason we put it in a cold pan is we want to bring it up slowly. And what that does is it renders some of the fat out of the pancetta, which will release into the pan, and then we'll add our garlic to infuse into the oil and the fat. You can add a little bit of olive oil if you want. If you haven't got enough fat in there, just add a touch of that in. So yeah, we'll get that onto a lowish heat and just leave that for, say, I don't know, 2-3 minutes, just gently, until some of that fat starts to leak out, and then you can turn it up a little bit higher just to crisp it off. And then in a second, when that's done, I'll show you the next stage. Whilst your pancetta's crisping up nicely, what we're going to do is we're going to mix probably, say 80 to 90% of the parmesan. You want to leave a little bit left just to sprinkle over the top of the dish once you've finished. Don't need to be too precise with it. I would say leave about that much. Okay, and then just simply whisk the 2 together, break the yolks up. Mix it all together. It will sort of form into like an eggy, cheesy paste, I suppose. Right, so that's what it should look like. So you've got this thick, eggy, cheesy paste, and that's ready to go into the finished dish, which I'll show you in a moment. Okay, right, you can see the pancetta is getting nice and crisp now. Just going to turn that heat down a touch. Plenty of the oil's come out, so I don't need to add any at this stage. Now just take your garlic clove, and all I've done is I've just cut them in half down the middle, leave the skins on, and just pop them into the pan, and just leave that just for a few seconds. Turn the heat off and just leave the garlic just to infuse the oil for about 30 seconds or so. I don't leave it in too long because it will just burn, so just leave it in that residual heat. And then take the garlic clove out once that's happened, chuck that away, and then we're ready for the final steps. Okay, so the pancetta's off the heat now. I've removed the garlic, and that'll quite happily sit there nice and warm. And so we need to get our spaghetti on. Okay, don't add olive oil or anything to pasta water. I don't know why people do it, because it won't stick together. As long as you've got plenty of salted water in there and it's not overcrowded, pasta won't stick together. Yep, so cook that for about sort of 8 to 10 minutes, something like that, until it's almost cooked through. And then we'll add that to the pancetta, off the heat, and then we'll add the egg and parmesan mixture, mix that all together, some of the pasta water, and that's pretty much done. Easy as that. So come back in a second and I'll show you that step. Right then peeps, my pasta is now cooked, so now this is the final assembly of the dish. This is where the crucial bit comes in, okay? You need to make sure that your pan has just got a little bit of warmth in it. By the time you've cooked your spaghetti, there should be enough residual heat. If there isn't, just turn it on the gas just for a little bit. You don't want it frying, you don't want it sizzling, just to get a bit of heat in there. The reason you don't want this screaming, sizzling hot is because what we're going to do is we're going to put the spaghetti in there and then add the cheese and egg mixture. If it's too hot, the egg's just going to curdle and it's going to split. So we need to be just warm, gentle, off the heat. Okay, right, so we'll add our spaghetti into the pancetta. Don't matter if you get a bit of water in with it, because we're going to add some more of it anyway. So we've got spaghetti in, and you just want to mix that in, coat the spaghetti in all that oil, get the pancetta running through it. Remember, this is off the heat. We've got no flame or anything like that underneath. Now, still some heat left in there, because remember the spaghetti's just come out of that boiling water. Now add your egg and cheese mix straight in like so, and just gently mix that through so that the spaghetti is nice and coated. And what that does, that residual heat just sets the egg to the point where it's not curved, it's not going to turn into a scrambled egg, just sets it so it's just cooked. Okay, so you see how creamy that's starting to go. Now at this stage you want to add a little bit of pepper. I don't think I'm going to add any salt because that pancetta is really salty anyway, so you shouldn't need any. And finally what you want to do, now this all depends on personal preference, this last bit. You might like your carbonara nice and thick as is, or you might like yours a bit saucier. If you want more of a saucy carbonara, what you want to do is just take a ladle and add probably just one ladle at a time to the carbonara. Mix that through. If you want it a little bit more saucier, again add another half a ladle to a ladle of that pasta water. Entirely up to you how you like the thickness of your carbonara. But that is ready, so let's plate it up and have a look. Here we go, my lovelies. Here's the finished article. What do you think? I just finished it off with a bit of parmesan on the top, and that is just the finished thing. I mean, how easy was that? Great for students, okay, because it's cheap as chips, simple to make, and it's full of goodness as well. So let's have a try, see what it's like. Who eats spaghetti on camera? I mean, come on. That is a dream come true. Got the saltiness from the parmesan, the creaminess from the cheese and the eggs. Could have put a bit more salt in there. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. But that is just delicious. Right, that's it for today, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Please make this recipe and give it a go. It's so easy to make. You know, even a fool like me can make it. This recipe will feed about 2 people or one really, really hungry person. So yeah, give it a go. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Links are in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.